good to be here again to bring you all yet another interesting episode on the natural processes that occur in nature. Previously, I had defined science as the study of nature, the behavior and characteristics of natural things and natural processes. And we said that in science, we're interested in natural things, but not just natural things, we're also interested in natural processes. And for two natural processes we discussed the last time, respiration and photosynthesis, we were able to explain how reversible both reactions are and that one is the opposite of the other. Why photosynthesis is an anabolic process, respiration is a catabolic process. Alright, that's for respiration and photosynthesis. For those of us that missed the video, you can just go and check respiration and photosynthesis. That's the title of that upload. Alright, but for today, I will be walking us through two natural processes still, and these two natural processes are osmosis and diffusion. Osmosis and diffusion. For our friends who are in senior primary, junior secondary, senior secondary, and those who might be in year 1 or 2 or 3 in the university who are into sciences, we must have heard of the term osmosis and diffusion. Alright, these are very interesting and important process in nature that regulates a lot of things that happens even in the plant life and in the body of animals as well. I'm going to start by defining the term diffusion. When I'm done with diffusion, I'm going to go to osmosis, define osmosis, and I'm going to contrast between diffusion and osmosis so that we can tell when a process is diffusion and when a process is osmosis. Alright, that's a good one. Okay, what then is diffusion? When we hear the word diffusion, I think what should come into our mind is diffuse. Something is diffusing. And what does it mean? When we hear the word diffuse simply means to spread out, widen, move, pour out. These are terms that can be used to explain what it means to diffuse. So when something is diffusing, it means it is spreading out. It is going around from one region to another region or from one area to another area. That is diffusion. That is what it means to diffuse. Alright, what then is diffusion? Diffusion is simply the movement of particles of matter due to their own kinetic energy, as a result of their own kinetic energy. So when particles of matter move from place to place, from region to region, due to their own kinetic energy, we say that to be diffusion. In that definition, in the definition given, we just said particles of matter move. What is then the direction of the movement? Well, these particles of matter moving according to their own kinetic energy or based on their kinetic energy move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So diffusion is the movement of particles of matter due to their kinetic energy from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. It is very important that we take note of that. So the reason for this is so that the region equalizes or an equilibrium is reached. So whenever we hear of diffusion, we should just remember that particles of matter, it is the movement of the particles of matter from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration without or not requiring a semi-permeable membrane. That is diffusion. The next process, natural process that occurs, and very, very important process, is osmosis. What then is osmosis? And the difference between these two processes, diffusion and osmosis? Well, osmosis is a special type of diffusion. It's a special type of diffusion, but we should take note that in the case of osmosis, solution of different concentration gradient, there is a movement from the weaker solution or the more dilute solution moves into a solution of higher or with higher concentration. So we're looking at the movement of solution from from lower concentration this time around to the region of higher concentration with the aid of a semi-permeable membrane. So solution, there is a movement. It moves from lower concentration to higher concentration. That is osmosis. But in the case of diffusion, find out that particles of matter tends to move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration without requiring a semi-permeable membrane. But in osmosis, this solution of different concentration, the weaker solution tends to move into or diffuse into the higher concentration to enable an equilibrium state to be made and to be gotten, and it requires a semi-permeable membrane. So we have seen that osmosis and diffusion are actually not the same thing. They're not the same at all. What's the difference between osmosis and diffusion? In the case of diffusion, there is a movement. There is a movement of particles of matter from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. But in osmosis, this solution move from lower concentration to higher concentration. That is one. Diffusion. For diffusion to occur, a semi-permeable membrane is not required. But for osmosis to take place, it requires a semi-permeable membrane. What is very important for us to take note of here is what I want to mention now. And what is that? In the case of osmosis, osmosis occurs just in liquid solution. That's where osmosis occurs. So you don't have osmosis occurring in other states of matter, solid or gas. But diffusion can occur in matter, no matter the state it exists. It could be as a solid, it could be liquid or gas. But osmosis only occurs in a liquid medium. That is a major difference between diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion can occur in a gas, in a solid, in a liquid, while osmosis will only occur in a liquid medium. And in the case of osmosis, there is a movement from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. If you listen attentively, you will notice that I have used the word semi-permeable membrane about 4 times now. But when we say a membrane is semi-permeable or semi-permeable, what does that mean? It simply means that that thing or that material allows some certain particles to flow through it while checking others. So it doesn't allow just anything to pass through it. It checks what passes through it, as there is no free passage. So that's what we mean by semi-permeable. So that is required. So it is very important for us to take note of the definition of these two processes that occur naturally in nature: diffusion and osmosis. It will interest us to note that cell, the root cell, the animal cell, plant cell, are all osmotic materials, and movement from lower concentration to higher concentration occurs, and it is as a result of the osmotic reaction that enables to a large extent the absorption of water by the roots. These are very important terms that we need to take note of. It is very important for us to take note of that. So thank you so much for your time. I'll come your way again, and when I come your way again, discussing biological science, I'll be bringing towards the mechanism of water absorption, both the passive absorption and the active absorption. Thank you.